Aloha! Talking trauma today. So, what happens in a traumatic moment is that it's a really impactful moment for us. Okay, so it can be something really big, like an accident or abuse, physical or verbal abuse, or it could be something that we don't actually recognize as trauma, but we have a trauma response from it. So it could be something from our childhood, like a simple thing like being told off by a caregiver, okay? Or it could be, all right, I fell off my bike, or it could be that moment, I had a fight with my friend, right? And so there's lots of different things that we don't consider to be trauma, but we still have a trauma response, a fear response from that experience. It just is an impactful moment. And of course, the bigger the moment, like if it's abuse or like neglect or an accident, then of course it's going to be a bigger response. Okay, so what happens is we are impacted in all parts of our body, our mind, and our spirit. Okay, so what happens is we have a physical response in our body. We may feel hurt, and so you would notice this as a trigger in the future if you were threatened with a similar experience in your future, then this response is going to come up as a fear response or a trauma response. Okay, so we may feel hurt physically, and so we might feel that in our body. So, for example, if there's some fear around having an accident, I know that sometimes I feel like if I'm about to feel like there's going to be an accident, right? If a car stops really quickly in front of me, I feel the adrenaline running up my hands. Okay, so that's an example, it's a really slight example of a response, but it's, just to give you an idea of what a trigger could be for you, okay? So an emotional response in that impactful moment, in that traumatic experience, emotion that you were feeling at the time. You could be afraid, you could be angry, you could be hurt or sad, you could be feel ashamed or guilty, right? Some of those big emotions that we experience in life. And so it could be one of those big emotions that is bothering you now, that stayed with you now, and it comes up again as a response, as a fear or trauma response in your body when you are triggered with something that feels like that same threat. Okay, so it could be, and there's a mental response as well. Okay, and so that could be in that impactful moment, in that traumatic moment, what was the thought that you were having, whether consciously or unconsciously? And it's normally unconsciously, right? Because of a lot of our traumatic experiences come from our childhood. So they're just programs that we are now conditioned to respond to. Okay, so that could be a thought that could come up in a moment is, I'm unsafe, the world is dangerous. It could be something like, I'm not good enough right now. I'm not safe to express my feelings. I'm not safe to speak my truth, right? It could be I'm not safe to do this thing that I did that I got, like maybe you were getting told off by a caregiver, and that could be like, a traumatic, impactful moment, being told off for something, right? We felt really afraid and really ashamed that maybe we did something, or maybe we said something, right? And so it could be that. And so the thought that we can have, it could be, women might be weak, right? Or it could be men are aggressive and scary. All right, so these are some of the thoughts that we could have had consciously or unconsciously when that experience happened. It could be a belief. So in that impactful moment, this is how our beliefs are formed, by the way, which is crazy, right? That we form all of our beliefs from a childhood experience, that we have created this belief, right? From this traumatic experience. And that's how our beliefs are created. So it's really important as an adult to do the work on looking at your beliefs and seeing how they're not serving you anymore. They're not helping you anymore. They're not helping you to live your best life, right? That life you really desire and dream of, living your best life. So these beliefs that we can form in those impactful moments are, maybe, I'm not loved, I'm not safe, I'm not worthy, I'm not smart, I'm not fast, I'm not beautiful, I can't do it, I'm not enough, right? All of those limiting beliefs that we all think at some point, because we're all human and we've all grown up having this human childhood experience. So we all have those, but which one is playing out for you the most? Okay, which one is stopping you from living your best life today? And you may not know that right now. It might just be showing up as a fear response or some sort of emotional response. And it might be like there's a fear of something you want to do and you can't do it, right? Like speaking up or, being seen, or opening your heart, right? Expressing yourself, or just feeling comfortable to be you. Okay, and that's where these traumatic experiences, these impactful moments can have a really big impact on our mental health, right? Because that can affect our stress and our anxiety levels, can affect our mental health levels with depression, and not moving forward, not being able to make decisions for ourselves as well, right? So it can also have this energetic or this spiritual response, okay? So I use the words energy and spirit together, interchangeably. So what happens when we have this traumatic response is that our energy leaves our body, and because we don't feel safe to be there, okay? And so that's where energy work and the EMPR work and the NLP work that I do is so amazing and has such fast results at identifying, releasing and resolving these impactful or traumatic moments from life or your childhood, okay? So it doesn't have to be just your childhood. It can be a moment as an adult as well, as an accident, abuse, a breakup, some kind of impactful moment. So when we disconnect that energy from our body, we can feel a real disconnection. So, the signs and the symptoms that show up when we are stuck in these fear responses, right? There are physical responses that we feel of when someone's touched me there, oh my God, I don't like that part of me being touched, right? Or it might be a car accident. It might be oh, that scares the shit out of me if someone pulls out in front of me. Or it might be someone speaking to you in a certain tone of voice, or criticizing you or giving you feedback, and that might be, I don't like that. That's bringing up this big emotional response reaction in me, and that stuff is caused from these unhealed childhood wounds, right? So as I'm speaking, you may be going, oh yeah, that's me. So just taking notes of if there's something, a pattern that's playing out in your life, these responses that are just unhelpful to you, and you would really like to be able to overcome them, release and resolve them, then this is the perfect work for you. Okay, so any emotional overwhelm where you feel there's a response that you're having to something and you find it really hard to control that emotional reaction, or if there's a negative thought loop that keeps playing out in your mind and you're starting to notice like, oh, there's some real negativity there. Like I keep thinking this and I keep having that thought, like, oh, I'm just not good enough to do that. I'm not good enough to do that. I'm not lovable enough. I'm not pretty enough, right? All of those kinds of thoughts and beliefs that come up for you again and again and again. Okay, those kinds of problems or challenges that you might be facing, that is the work that we can do to help you really move forward. Or if you're at work or in business and you're really struggling, you need to move forward somehow, but you're feeling really stuck, and you can't make a decision, you don't know what decision to make, and you can't trust yourself, and that is another place where we can work, and we go really deep in the work that I do. And I am here to support you and guide you so you feel really safe in doing this work, in identifying, releasing, and resolving those childhood impactful traumatic moments. Okay, so if there was some better way that you would like to live your life but you're feeling stuck, then please reach out for a free 45-minute chat. I would love to meet you.